Hey guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how you can create a timer in C++. So this is what you have right now. When we start playing, there is a timer that counts down, and whenever it reaches 0, it's going to restart our game. So let's go create this. Right, so the first thing we're going to need is a C++ class, and it's going to be a type character. So next, I'm just going to call this my character and click on this public private separator and create the class. Right, here is my uh, header file for my character, and here we're gonna define a couple of functions. So it's gonna be void countdown, and we also need some variables. We're gonna need an integer, minutes, and I'm gonna initialize it with like 2, for example. And we're gonna need another integer, which is called seconds, and I'm gonna initialize it with 0. So let's create a definition for this function. So generate definition. If you don't have writer, you can just type this out manually in the CPP file. And so let's go to our begin play. Here we're going to set up a timer. So let's write get world timer manager, and let's set timer. The timer takes an if timer handle, so let's create that if timer handle, and I call this timer handle. And because we're going to pass this variable by reference, we don't need to initialize it. So timer handle, and let's say this. This is an object reference to whatever function that we're going to call. So because the function is defined in this class, we're going to use the this, which is a pointer to the current class. And for the function, we're going to use and sign and a my character countdown. And now here we're going to specify the rate, which is going to be 1. And we also want this to loop, and the first delay want this to be 0, because we want the first call to be instantaneous. Or you can just put it like 10. If you set this to 10, it's gonna call this function after 10 seconds. But that's not what I want here. So down here in our function, we're gonna use an if statement, and as the condition, we're gonna check if seconds is not equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, we're gonna subtract 1 from seconds. So seconds equals seconds minus 1. And we're gonna also use an else statement. If seconds is equal to 0, we're gonna check if minutes is equal to 0 or not. Minutes equal 0. If it's equal to 0, that means that the timer is finished. And this is where you can do some stuff when the timer has finished. And the else statement of this, which means minutes is not equal to 0, is going to be minutes equals minutes minus 1. And we also need to set the seconds to 59 because we want to reset the seconds so that it starts counting down again, which is going to go back here and execute this. Let's compile. Okay, the compile is successful. Now here back in Unreal, we are going to create a widget. So go user interface, widget blueprint. I'm going to call this timer. I'm just quickly go and set up some buttons. Sorry, not buttons, some numbers that can represent the time. So let's use a horizontal box. And let's drop some text in there. We're gonna need 3. The middle one is gonna be just a colon. The left one is gonna be minutes. So let's rename this to minutes. And the right one is gonna be seconds. Let's fit all of these. This should do fine. Let's anchor this horizontal box to here and set this to minus 0.5 and so sorry, not minus 0.5, just 0.5 and 0.5, and we're going to set the X position to 0 so that it's perfectly in the middle. Right, so here for the minutes we're going to create a binding, and here we're going to set get player character, and we are going to cast to our third person character. We're going to convert this to a pure cast so that we don't get any execution pin. And I just noticed that we didn't set up our third person character, so let's go back here, third person character, and here we have to change the parent class. So my character here is our C++ class, and we also need to go to our code, to our header file, and we have to declare these functions, variables as blueprint read only, because we want to be able to access these from our widget. So U property blueprint read only, and let's compile again. I recommend compiling from UE4 because somehow it's doing a better job at compiling. Okay, the compile was successful, and here in our third person character we're gonna get minutes. This is a C++ variable, and we're gonna connect these up. And here it's important in the to-text converter, we're gonna set the minimum integer digitals to 2 and maximum integral digitals to 2. Right, so that should be it. Let's compile, and we have to do the same thing for minutes. So go back here, create a binding, and let's copy all of this, paste it here, and here we're going to say get seconds, and connect these up, set these to 2, compile and save. And here in our pick and play, let's create this widget. I'm using blueprints because it's just a lot easier to do this from blueprints. Widget, timer, and add to viewport. So let's see what happens. And here we have our timer, which started counting down from 2 minutes. That's because we set the minutes to 2. If we go back here and set the minutes to something like, I don't know, 5, and compile. This is now gonna start counting down from 5, as you can see, and it's going to reset, or actually we didn't specify any code in our if statement when the timer has finished. So I'm just gonna do and test that for you. So here in our code, the CPP file, do some stuff when the timer has finished. We are going to view gameplay statics, and we're gonna open level, and it's gonna be get board, and the level name is gonna be, let's actually copy and paste this, because these two have to be exact the same thing, otherwise it's not gonna work. And also let's set the minute to something like 1, and now let's compile this. And now if we reach the end of the timer, basically the timer has reached 0, it's going to restart. It's going to open the level, which means that it's going to restart. I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, we are at 5 seconds right now, and it should restart the game. Here we go, it restarted our game. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope you liked it, and goodbye.